I had so much fun creating this character and doing the research, watching the episodes, and even going as far as watching the movie for Back to the Barnyard Otis for Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2. I think it's a good chance we could see him. There's probably not going to be, um, it's probably going to be some characters that's going to get cut. I don't want to see anybody get cut from this roster. I hope everybody makes it into the game. And before I get into his moveset and the ideas that I came up for him, you guys don't have to watch the full video if you don't want to. Not sure how long this is going to be. Everything that I mentioned for this character and all my ideas is going to be as usual in the description, where you can read through my ideas and then some of the references and his quotes and things like that that I found. And it was so much fun putting his moveset together, and he has a lot of different costumes that he can rock, and especially human disguises and so much more. Getting to know Otis, and I haven't seen the show before, I haven't seen the movie, but doing the research and checking the show out and the movie itself that I enjoy, and the characters themselves out, and just his friends and so much more, seeing him become the new leader and how he grows. It's just great to do this series, and that's why I like making these character ideas, because I get to know new characters that I haven't seen from shows and different series that you guys like to watch. Just like this one, for example, that we're talking about, Back at the Barnyard, that's new to me. I grew up watching these shows from the 90s, even with the character that you see on the screen from the 90s era. I grew up watching all these shows, and I hope they don't remove any of these characters that's old school, things like that. We want all these characters to make it in. And for me, even if I'm not that big of a fan of a show, I'm not gonna immediately want to cast them out and say, well, I want that character to be removed. I want everybody to make it over to the new sequel, and they can build and expand on these characters. Now, I want to also slide in some quick predictions for tomorrow, because the Evo showcase, or the gameplay showcase, whatever they're going to show, is it going to be a new character reveal? I don't think it is, because it's probably not going to be enough time, but I just don't want them showcasing just SpongeBob and Patrick. Let's get some of the newcomers that's going to be in the game. I want to see that pop up, and it's perfect. It's a good way to really get people excited for the new faces that's going to be in the game, and even characters that we least expect to be in the game that got revealed. So, but I'm cool with anything that they show. It doesn't matter, even if they do SpongeBob and Patrick. I feel like we're going to be able to see the first ever super move, or ultimate attacks, I like to call them, for one or two of these characters for the showcase. So I'm not sure how long it's going to be. If it really is 7 minutes, or maybe just a half hour long for the showcase, I'm happy to see this game, see how this game plays, and all the different changes that they came up with. Maybe we'll get a glimpse of the character menu. Maybe we'll be able to get a taste of some of the other things that we don't know about the game that they'll share with us by surprise, followed by a character reveal. Maybe, possibly, but I'm not sure if that's probably going to happen, but I'm still excited for tomorrow to see. But I wanted to bring that out first before we dive into Otis for this DLC character request. So there's going to be more characters that I'm going to be putting together as time goes on for the sequel as it comes out, and even when it's out, some of the missing characters that can be able to be in the game, that belongs in the game with these single reps that still have missing shows, underrated shows that's missing, and more reps that could be able to get added into the game. But let's start talking about Otis now. I just wanted to get that out there just to react, since we're really close to the showcase, just about one day left to go. And it starts at 12:30 if you guys don't know. So it's at 12:30 tomorrow, or Eastern time. So getting to know Otis was so much fun, and watching the show and the movie and some of the episodes as well. Otis is the main protagonist of the Nickelodeon Barnyard franchise, and just again, I'm new to it, so it was so much fun to really be able to get into this for the first time. And Otis, if you don't know, Otis the cow is the leader of the barnyard, and he often leads his friends into big trouble with the humans. He's best friends with Pip, Pig, and all the other characters, Freddy, Pet, Duke, and Miles. And some other things that I want to tell you guys about his story. He didn't just get this leadership out of nowhere and become a leader. He was the son of Ben, who was destroyed by his nemesis Dag and the Coyotes. They're responsible for killing off his dad, and just because of that, Otis became the newly elected leader of the barn. And at first, he was not courageous. He was scared. He had so much fear inside him. He didn't have the bravery that he did originally. When you watch, you see him become a little bit even more courageous. And he becomes a hero, protecting his friends and all the other animals on the barn. And it's awesome to really see this. And you can see this all come into play in the movie, in the Barnyard movie. And I took some things from the movie as well when I came up with these ideas. But that's a little bit of his backstory, getting to know Otis. He's basically the leader of the barnyard, and he protects the animals and his friends. When there's any sort of trouble or anyone trying to attack the farm and take his friends away and things like that, and Dag and the Coyotes, well, his coyote henchmen and his crew, will always do that, trying to kidnap these animals and take them away, and then he would try to kill them off. But Otis is the protector of this barn as the newly elected leader, as this new leader. And when you watch the show, each episode tells a completely different story, and it's a whole different adventure with his friends. So you can watch the episodes in any order that you want. You can even watch the movie too. But you can watch the episodes to see all the different adventures and the different threats that come up. Different things happen. They get into different trouble, different things and situations with the humans and things like that. And when the farmer's away, they start partying, having fun, and things like that. Otis likes to have fun. Outside of being just a hero and protector of the animals of the farm, they always like to have fun and have a good time. So you'll be able to see all that when you watch this show, Back to the Barnyard. So that's the backstory that for this character and just the show series, and just in a nutshell. I didn't want to make it too long, but every time I do a character, I always like talking about the backstory instead of just jumping in to the ideas that I came up with. Now the stage, of course, I selected the barnyard. They don't have some kind of stage like that, but when I think of the barn, it makes me think of Garfield with the Arbuckle Farm. But that's not a stage in this game. So they can do something like that when they come out with Otis as DLC. Hopefully he can get into the game, but I think he'll probably be bundled with a stage if he's paid DLC, more likely. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, the Oedeville, that's the main setting from the career that he came up with for this Barnyard series. So that would definitely be the more likely the stage. There's not going to be any other setting unless they choose Dag and the Coyotes Den. That could be some kind of secondary choice, but I didn't put that in my little list of ideas. So I think the barnyard itself would be a cool little setting. And you could see some of the humans as just an idea, and a background, and some of his friends could be background characters. Pip, Pig, Freddy, Pet, and Duke, and all them could be in the background rooting for him, watching on in the hands. So that'll be perfect. So now to the costumes. Otis has a lot of good costumes, and just look at these, some of my favorites. And I'm just even more excited to see what kind of alternate costumes that the DLC characters will have, because the base roster is looking to really have some amazing costumes. We don't even know who has what yet. Well, all of them. Some of them contains a pre-order bonus, elastic waistband, the Quister, it goes on and on. But I hope they get more than one costume, maybe 2 or 3. But Otis, he has so many costumes that the developers can go for. And just a little bit of a list if you guys want to check it out. I want to say this right now. The Cowman Supersuit will be really cool for a costume, but I did something else with this. So I'm going to push this costume away and take it out of the alternate costumes for him. But it's still going to be in this list. So I have a different idea that I came up for him with this particular supersuit for Cowman. But I'll get into that in the moveset. So he wears a blue, yellow, and purple supersuit. So, and that's from the Cowman and Ratboy episode where it first debuted, where you get to see this costume of him having this alter ego, this superhero alter ego that you guys can check out. But I did something differently with this particular costume, so you guys will find out going towards the end of this DLC video. So some other ones, when you watch the show, Otis he has different human disguises, so it almost made me think of Ace Sabby in a way for what he can do. So, but we'll wait and talk about that going towards the end for Otis. But when you watch the show, Otis has different human disguises that he wears, and you guys can check out the clips. So I put in Otis for mayor, where he had a campaign ad episode, Ned Bovine for mayor, and he was dressed up in his little mayor costume. So it's a really funny campaign ad that he was trying to put together. And then Gill O'Malley, Gill O'Malley, investigator reporter, he can put that they can add that as a little ideal costume. He has a lot of great ones. I didn't put them all in though. And then Otis even disguised himself as a TV chef in the Iron Otis episode, where you can see him disguise himself as a chef, and he had to say peck in the episode. And then I added in the cop cow, where he dresses up as a police officer. So he decides to take Officer Fred's place when he got injured and he crashed into a tree. So he ends up taking on that role to replace him, the real actual human Fred that's in the show, because he's a police officer. He got injured, and during his recovery phase, Otis decides to take on that new role to be a police officer and fill in for him. So you can check this out in the Cop Cow episode. It's just so many great human disguises that I wanted to add in, but those are just some additional ones that I thought would be really funny to see and really cool added, and I think they will really look good in this new sequel. Last but not least, I added in Otis and the crew from when they did the stage performance from the show. Just a hat. It's like a white top hat. So if they want to bring the hats back, I don't want to see that. Some characters just having hats. So it seems like that's going to be a whole different story when it comes to sequels. The sequel itself, they're going to have some really nice alternate costumes. Hopefully they don't settle with just hats everywhere with certain characters, leaving out alternate costumes. So I slipped in his little top hat from when he was doing the stage performance in the barn. Otis and the crew. Nice little song performance. But that was the last one I put in for a costume. Just something minor, something simple that they can add in as well, since this game has hats. So for the taunts and animations, I'm gonna get into these. For the taunts, I used his teasing poses. I wanted to put in his teasing poses similar to the ones that he does to the mailman in the movie. So when the mailman arrived and he was putting the mail into the mailbox, Otis was just teasing him from behind, and his friends was just laughing. So all the taunts that he did, the little silly funny taunts, and standing up, and every time the mailman would turn around, he would just be back on all four, just standing there looking at him, and then he would follow him back to his car, things like that. It was funny just to see that in the movie. And you can also find this clip here on YouTube to really see what I'm talking about. The teasing poses, or you can just type in Otis the Cow Mailman, you'll be able to see that. It's just a little 28-second little video clip. I used that as some of the taunts that he can use, and they could be alternate, a main or a secondary taunt that they added into this game, like Hugh Neutron and some of the other characters have in this game. Some of them have alternate taunts, but not all of them. But they can use those silly, funny poses that he does, and teasing and stuff like that, making funny faces and stuff like that. They can use those to pay tribute to the movie like that, and it'd be really funny just to do that on the battlefield, just try to tease your opponent when you're winning the match. And then some quotes, animation and stuff like that they can put in. Maybe in the arcade, and just some voice lines. It's milking time. Something like that. I am the greatest. I am the greatest. Just some of the quotes like that. And then some of the human disguises can also be used as funny, unique quotes to pay tribute to the show and reference. Like with Gill O'Malley, since I added him as one of his alternate costumes. during his campaign. Gill O'Malley, he can be used. He could say some of those as a some quotes during the battle or during the quote. Well, during the battle or during the arcade for some voice lines. Gill O'Malley will bite you. Gill O'Malley will bite you. It's something that he can say during the fight. It'll be really hilarious to see that. And then iconic quote. This is one of my favorite ones from the movie when he's about to defeat Dag. He said, "Remember me? I'm Ben's kid." And he says this when he defeats his arch nemesis Dag from the Barnyard, the original Party Animals movie. So you guys could be able to see that. And then another little funny catchphrase. Say, "Oh, milk me." Things like that. The devs can really play around with the quotes with Otis. And it'll be really hilarious to see some of these quotes make it into the game. And I really want, "Remember me? I'm Ben's kid." It's such an iconic quote for him. And it pays tribute to the movie. And it's just one of the coolest quotes. And just see him just step up to the plate to his nemesis, who's responsible for putting away his dad, Ben, from the movie. So it'd be so awesome to see that really implemented with some of those ideas. And just what I was mentioning with the poses with the Mailman, they can easily get those taunts done with Otis by adding those funny poses in to really make him a really funny character. He's gonna be good too, so it's really funny to really play with too, to hear what he says. But we're gonna wrap this up with the moveset, and this is my favorite part, just making these characters. I always say the moveset to be last, and then we got to know the character, the history, just the backstory, and so much more. The moveset was so much fun to put together, and I started with a projectile attack for him, Otis the cow, of course. So I called this milking machine. So a projectile attack where Otis can shoot milk full screen across the screen. And I was gonna slide in, maybe just add in an additional mechanic to it, so when you get hit by his milking machine projectile attacks, it'll probably temporarily stun you. But I just think it'll just be a projectile attack like Danny Phantom's that hits you and then it just inflicts damage instead of just stunning. So that was milking machine for his projectile attack. And then a neutral move I came up with him, a cow kick out, where Otis can turn quickly around and just kick you with his hind legs, a little hind kick, bang, launch your way. It'll be really awesome. There's something like that to be seen for Otis, and I can really picture that being one of his moves. And my personal favorite that I came up with for his move set for a third move, I called it "I Won't Back Down." It's an iconic song to the series, and it pays tribute to his dad Ben. And where Otis doesn't back down no matter what. And during this move, Otis can move, and then he'll strike a special pose to increase his defense against incoming damage for a short period of time. I think this is some kind of unique move because it pays tribute to his dad and his leadership, leading the animals and protecting them. They definitely can do something for him with his moveset like this. And I think that's something that I would like to see the developers do if Otis gets into the game. Some kind of move with this, that with a name like "I Won't Back Down." It attributes to, it's the name of the song that plays. And it's what his dad did when he was outnumbered against the Coyotes. It was a 6-on-1. But he didn't stop at nothing to try to fight back and take them all on and fight to the very end. So it'd be something like that I would like to see them do. And then I took the iron golf club, or basically this golf club from the junkyard that he used to strike Dag and launch him away. The iron golf club, he can stick with the iron and swing this golf club to attack. Little silly move, but it's another iconic sort of move that they can add. And even this, the super cow punch, when he grabs, even Ben did this too. And I think they did this on purpose, the creators, when they came out with this franchise. Yeah, he grabs when he was just about to finish Dag, and Ben had the chance to just punch Dag his lights out. Otis had a chance too, and he had his fist all ready to punch his lights out and finish him. Otis can grab an enemy with one hand, and he can manually charge up his fist to knock them back with a supercharged punch. Because he grabbed him by the neck, charged it up, bang! He was about to get ready to hit him, but he stopped. He hesitated. He said, "Don't come back. Never come back." And he just spared him, just like Ben did. When Otis came back and got his revenge, be able to, when he was going to rescue the animals and the hens and all them that were about to get eaten by the coyotes, he was going to do this special move. This could be something that can be utilized. And it's just, see how you see all these characters in this game? They all have the same grabbing mechanic. So this could be something unique for him. A grapple move, and you play as Otis, and you hold that button down, charge up that fist, and the longer you charge it, you can be able to launch him even further and do more damage. So you don't want to let him grab you. And then a recovery move, I thought I wasn't going to be able to come up with one for him because he's a cow. He can't fly. So I thought I ended up finding out that, watching this episode, Top Cow and School of Otis, he flies this plane, the old Death Trap. They can bring the old Death Trap plane into Otis's moveset for his recovery to save himself. So Otis takes flight in the old Death Trap plane to break his fall in style. And paying tribute to as a reference to the episode, or paying tribute to the episode, he crashed this plane. He was almost going to get ready to crash it. So the player, if you're playing as Otis, you can be able to also crash the plane into the stage if you choose. So if you want to just get out, you want to fly the old Death Trap and not even bother crashing it, you can just fly in the plane and then get up out of there and then get back onto the stage, back into the action. But you'll also have the option to crash the plane into the stage if you want to. So I thought that'll be a nice little touch for his recovery move. And this is from the Top Cow or the School of Otis episode when he was teaching the kids how to have fun. And eventually some locusts were headed to the town, and he had to end up rescuing the county. He needed to save the county from the locusts that were on the way to attack the town. So that's what I came up with for his recovery. And now that every character that I make out, that I create and make moves for, I'm now giving them ultimate attacks now. And since this sequel is going to have supers, which are basically ultimate attacks, I gave Otis an ultimate attack and called it Cowman. See what I did? So the Cowman, instead of making an alternate costume, this could be his ultimate attack. So Otis can unleash his inner hero, transforming into Cowman, his alter ego. And when he transforms into Cowman, all his attacks do double the damage, and he's immune to all damage. He's immune to all attacks. And this debuted in the Cowman and the Ratboy episode, where you'll be able to first get to take a look at this alter ego from his inner hero that he tapped in. So he could tap into his inner hero for his alter ego for Cowman. Otis the Cowman gets unleashed for his ultimate or his super. What do you guys think about that? And to me, I'd rather have that as an ultimate or a super attack instead of an alternate costume. But they can do it either way. It could be an alternate costume or they can turn it into a super. But I see it being fit. I think the shoe fits better as an ultimate or a super. That's going to be called in this game on the Nickelodeon characters in All-Star Brawl 2. This fits as a super move. And I'm not going to try to lie. I was thinking about Wario's move from Super Smash Bros. Brawl when he transformed. Here I go. When he transforms in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, when he uses his ultimate, get the final Smash Ball, hit that B button, transform. It made me think about that. So I thought maybe this would be a good fit for Otis to turn into Cowman for his super. But that's everything that I had came up with for Otis the Cow for this character request series that y'all want to see. I still have plenty of other characters from my list to get to and many others. But I hope he gets into the game as DLC. Maybe he's going to get picked. I would like to see more shows and series get represented instead of the same characters getting picked, or the same shows getting more and more reps, taking up the character slots and things like that. Let's get some more underrated shows, Rocket Power, etc. There's so many. I can't wait to see how tomorrow goes. Hopefully they'll consider Otis being DLC. What do you guys think is going to happen? Do you think he's going to be able to get into the game? Maybe they'll go for someone else. But I think Otis is definitely a great pick. I had so much fun watching the movie and just clips from the episodes, doing the research and getting to know this character. And I'm now a new fan of the show because this was new to me. So I wanted to take the challenge of putting something together, even yet another new character that I think can belong into this upcoming sequel as DLC. He probably not going to be up in the base roster, but he can be someone that they can get for future updates in this DLC.